Introduction. How'd you like that for an intro? Yeah. Anyway, should I put this on? It's getting too dark. I just want to be able to do stuff before I'm too tired. I spent the whole day just cleaning and emptying out my space, moving stuff around because there's going to be construction. I'm wearing a construction vest because I'm doing construction with Daddy. So I wanted to talk about unexpected thing today. Instead of ranting and raving, I was going to do something, actually talk about something more intellectual, about the next thing that I'm working on that's actually making me less upset about things. But then I discovered, so anyway, no, it actually fits in the framework. What's going on is that I'm applying for a Guggenheim grant, and I went to check whether or not I was still eligible to take, or whether or not I was eligible to take submit another Pollack Krasner grant, because I got rejected by the grant in March. And I was devastated because I put a lot of energy into it, a lot of traction, media, pictures, I mean, I went through a lot of, and I feel like I set a good groundwork, good traction for the project. So now I have like a different idea completely, both for the Guggenheim and the Pollack grant. So in order to just make the application go quickly, because there's just some rudimentary things I need to answer, like other awards you've had and like other exhibits you've had, so I can just pretty much copy and paste the application stuff from last year's application. You're only allowed to apply once a year after rejection, but it's like so I submitted it exactly 1 year ago today. So you have to wait a year before you could reapply 1 year after that application, not a year after your rejection. I'm going with that right now. So I'm going through this copy and paste thing, and I'm on my desktop, and I'm looking for the file that had all the information, and I'm typing in Pollack Krasner, and it's not coming up. And I'm like, I know and I have a laptop. So I checked on the laptop. It's not on the laptop either. And I'm like, I didn't get rid of all this file. It was a lot of information. It was like all these formats, PDF and Word and all this stuff. Like I needed to work on it. I worked on it for weeks. I didn't just scrap it. And I'm like, did I scrap it out of anger? Did I get rid of it? Did I delete all this information? And I was like, no, that's kind of stupid. I get angry, but, well, there's no limit to what I do when I get mad, I guess. So I'm looking. So I just type in, Pollack, and then I just type in the word Poll, P-O-L, and boom, it pops up. And then I'm like, what's wrong? Why isn't it not coming up on the Pollack? And I realized I spell it Pollack. And I'm looking at my application and my introduction and everything, cover letter, and instead of saying Pollack Krasner, I spell it Pollack Krasner. So instead of Pollack, which is P-O-L-L-O-C-K, I spelled it P-O-L-L-A-C-K. I swapped the O for an A. And then I'm looking like, oh my God. No wonder it's $50,000, that grant it got up to. And I'm like, why did I get rejected? I feel like I had everything. And I realize I fucked up the spelling of Pollack. And I'm like, would you give $50K to a chooch who can't even spell the name of the foundation? And I'm just like, oh my God, because it was like, to the point that I got like drunk at some friend's house upstate, crying. I walked through the woods through a storm, wondering why the world hates me. It's because I can't spell. And it's like I was never going to get caught in spell check because it's a proper noun. So like I checked everything 50,000 times. And then I realized, like, no, it's like it wasn't going to spell check Pollack. It was just like, well, that's how you spell it. My name doesn't get spell checked because that's my name. It's a pronoun. I mean, sometimes you get the squiggle, but I was just like, oh my God. So, like, the first thing it says, like, to whom it may concern at the Pollack Krasner found. I'm like, well, no kidding. Right off the bat, I'd reject it. Yeah, because this guy can't even, like, he's asking for money and he doesn't even know who he's asking from. Yeah. JP Logan, that's who I'm asking money from. Chisel Bank. Uh, I'm like, and I'm laughing because of the absurdity. And I'm, catching me in a mood where I can laugh at this, which is ridiculous, because normally I would just put my fist through the damn computer, but I was just like, wow, after all that work, labor, thousands spent on paint and food and transportation, and to get something to get a project going, and it's like, wow, I spelled it wrong, and then I'm like, why did I spell it wrong? And I'll tell you why. And this is where it gets into the rabbit hole of your mind, because everyone's crazy. And I'm definitely convinced that everyone's crazy. I don't like his last name. I don't like Pollack's last name because it reminds me of Pollack. And when I was a kid, all the Italian and German and Irish kids who were obviously the intellectual cream of the crop in NYC, they used to call me stupid Pollack. And I didn't know how to spell that word. So, like, sometimes I would see Pollack, and even I've heard that people call Pollack or whatever. Some people thought he was Polish because they thought it was, and I'm like, no, it's a derogatory word. It's Polelock, probably. Like, I don't even, maybe that's probably the spelling. We could spell it other way. So, when I see the word Pollack, I'm like, I think of Pollack, and then I kind of like don't like it. Krasner, I'm okay with, but the Pollack, it's also a fish. So, like, it's not that I spelled it wrong subconsciously, but I don't like the way the last name sounds. And I can go with Jackson. Let's go with the Jackson Krasner. You could just call it Jackson Krasner. Why can't they just call it? And I'm just like, and then I'm like, oh man. So, like, when I read it and I think about him, like, I don't like the last name per se. But I mean, that's just stupid. That's just like you being stupid and crazy. But then I'm like, oh my God. And it's like, to whom it may concern, I can't spell. And yeah. So it's the little things that get you in life. It's the little things that'll take you down. People think it's like, it's like when you look both ways, crossing the street for traffic, and it's the air conditioner that lands on your head. Instead of looking left and right, you should have looked up or down into a manhole cover. I almost fell down a manhole one time, but that's another story. But yeah, that's. But now that I'm aware of it, I guess, and now I'm going to start a new application, like, but wow. And it's after combing over, and weeks on an application, painstakingly combing it over, and you're like, wow. There was a commercial back years ago. You're too young to remember, you kiddies. There was a guy. It was a commercial, like something about spell. I don't know if it was for spell check. This guy, he was so proud because he, wrote all these cover letters and he was sending out resumes. And his wife comes over, and he's like, what did he say? It's like she figured out. She's like, "Dear sir, madman," and he looks at it. He says, "Madam," and she's like, "No." So he wrote all these letters and printed out everything, and it said, "Dear sir" or "madman," or because he was supposed to spell "madam." So I always found that kind of funny, that commercial. And I felt like this is that's a callback, as they say in the comedy biz. Not really though. All right. I don't have a shirt under this, but don't pleasure yourself to images of me shirtless. Thanks.